morning. Good morning, everyone. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome you to another episode of Untomato Show, a part of Chism Network. I'm Dr. Wanyoho, Ambassador Dr. Wanyoho Simmery, and I'm your host. Welcome. Wherever you are, thank you, Chineke, the Most High, for the opportunity to be walking amongst the living today. You are one of the lucky few. There are some people who did not make it. Is that a reason to celebrate? No matter what your condition is in this world, you are okay because you're here. You've got an opportunity to get things better. If you didn't have it right yesterday, here's another opportunity to get it right. So welcome and thank you for being here today. The topic of our conversation today is exploring the proposed wellness farms for Black children with special needs and health challenges. Um, this is of concern to me, obviously, because I'm an African person and I'm interested in what the ideas, what information is being recommended on my behalf or on behalf of our children, people who look like me. So this is a very important topic to discuss today. But before we do that, I just want to share something with you. A friend of mine, Dr. Imani Ma'at, I love her dearly. She shared this coffee with me. It's called Bio Coffee. Bio Coffee. This is I don't know if you can see it, but it's called Bio Coffee, and it is so delicious. As a matter of fact, I don't use water in my coffee. I tend to just use rice milk, heat it up, and then add this coffee to it. And let me tell you, oh, delish. It's the best coffee ever. I'm so glad that she introduced that to me. So, but anyway, wherever you are, I hope all is well with you. Certainly well with me. It's all a mind game after all. If you believe that you're going to be okay, you will be okay. And so I am praying that you are going to be okay today and at least see that you're going to be okay today. There is a fitting African proverb that I want to share. And it says, he who learns teaches others. He who learns or she who learns teaches others. Onye mota uzibe. If you learn something, you share with others. You share with your peers, your family, whomsoever. But knowledge is not to be stored and hidden. And hidden in your mind only. Knowledge is to be shared with others. And so I'm sharing my knowledge through Untomato, through the Untomato show. And I am so excited to share this one with you. And I'm hoping you're as excited as I am, because this is something that needs to be discussed. Something that needs to be discussed. What is the meaning anyway of that proverb that I just shared? This proverb underscores the importance of knowledge and awareness in protecting oneself from harmful intent of others. It suggests that by gaining wisdom and understanding, whether through personal experience or education, you empower yourself to recognize and avoid the manipulations or deceit of those who mean you no good, and you share that information with other people. People have nefarious intentions. And with knowledge, you may be able to and teach others how to bypass it. So you don't fall a victim of other schemes. God knows there's so many schemes out here, and you don't want to fall victim of it. This particular topic is of interest to me because I was listening. I don't know how many of you focused or paid attention to the confirmation hearings of the heads of the administration, the heads of departments for the Republican administration, Donald Trump's administration. But it's of interest, and that's why it's important for you to learn, pay attention. During the confirmation of John Kennedy, who is the HHS, Human Health and Human Resources Secretary, John Kennedy Jr., I heard something I mean, I was paying attention to everything that they were talking about, but one thing just got my attention, and it kind of hit hard. And I said, there's some things that you hear, you've heard it somewhere before, but one particular time you hear it again and it just hits home and you go, ooh, what is this? And before I talk about it, I want to share the video with you because you have to hear it yourself. If I just said it to you, you will not believe it. Now, it may not mean anything to you. It may just be, something you should pay attention to. It may be something you should pay attention to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video. And I want you to pay close attention to the response by Kennedy. This is of utmost importance. Pay attention to what his response, the Senator Alsobrook, who was questioning him. Pay attention to the response he gave. And initially, when I heard that, I was like, wait, what? Now, I want you to.
You were on a show on February 26, 2021, an interview with Dr. Judy Mikovits, where you said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving Black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that Blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different vaccine schedule would you say I should have received? What different vaccine schedule should I have received?
I mean, the Poland article suggests that Blacks need fewer antigens than
this is so dangerous.
You get the same measles vaccine.
Mr. Kennedy, with all due respect, that is so dangerous. Your voice would be a voice that parents would listen to. That is so dangerous. I will be voting against your nomination because your views are dangerous to our state and to our country.
Different antigens. Did you hear that? So the vaccines that all of us have been taking, white, Orientals, Blacks, all of us, all of a sudden, his opinion, based on whatever research he said was done in Poland, is that the focus on the vaccines has been on gender, not race, just gender and particular, like some individuals have particular challenges, those are more what is considered when you make the vaccines, that nobody has really paid attention to the race factor. Think, people, race factor. So that means that the vaccines that are going to be developed under Kennedy is going to be different for whites and different for people of color, particularly Black people. And I've been going around the internet trying to see, hey, somebody paying attention to this? Who's looking at this? We have antigens that are different. We have a totally different racial makeup. So that means that we should have a different kind of vaccine. And people are not talking about that. I want you to think about what that means. Hey, I could be wrong. It may not mean anything to you. But that caught my attention. And quite frankly, that's why Senator Alsobrook said, oh my God, this is dangerous. She got the message. But it doesn't seem like many of us have gotten the message because I don't see many of us talking about it. None of the talking heads, none of the media, not even the podcasters. I don't hear anybody talking about this. This is dangerous. I mean, to me, it may not be to you. But when you start making that sort of distinction, when it was time for us to take the COVID vaccines, it was given to everyone. So what we're saying now is there has to be a different vaccine, if he will allow vaccines to even happen, because recently he was talking about the fact that vaccines are not necessary. The measles outbreaks that's going on now and killing children. One child has died thus far, but over 100 people have been have contracted measles, and that's particularly those who are not vaccinated. But see, now a different kind of vaccine is going to be offered. It's going to be offered to Black people. Now, it may not mean anything to you, but are you paying attention? See, we have a tendency to try to put out the fires that are being lit everywhere. And some of the important things that we should be very cognizant or pay attention to, we're not. Does that matter to you? That the vaccines that you're receiving right now is not the right one. There should be a special one for you because of your makeup as a Black person. Think about that. It might not mean anything to you. Just to me, makes me question. I just want a little bit more explanation. And it seems to me that Senator Alsobrook immediately said, whoa, is Senator Kennedy able to explain to us what he means by that? I would hope so. I'm sure he's a good human being, but that right there is alarming to me. It makes me go, what does that mean? What does that mean? We don't know. I'm not going to put any words into his mouth other than what has been shared. But if you were a person of color, you should ask those questions. That's all you need to do, is just ask the question. If it makes sense to you, we cool. No problem. If it doesn't, you just need a little bit more explanation. That's all I'm asking for, quite frankly. Just a little bit more explanation. Well, while I'm grappling with that, I see another reason to ask what's going on, particularly as it pertains to us, people of color. Salon.com had an article. Salon is an internet news forum. It's kind of like the Huffington Post and Daily Kos. You know, they have lots of blogs and information that they share. So I tend to want to know, I try to get the pulse of America, the pulse of the world, actually. See what everybody's thinking about, add it to my repertoire. Some things you just ignore, some things you pay attention. Take a sip of my coffee. This is so delicious. So I came upon this article that really gave me pause again. And this again has to do with Black people. In this case, it has to do with young Black children. Black children who, a lot of them are ADHD, at least the school keeps identifying them as ADHD, and attention deficit disorder. And a lot of them take medications. And then mental illness, people have you assume to be mentally ill. Then those who are diabetic, those who are on the spectrum. There's a new recommendation for treatment for such people. But my concern is not that if it's a generalized concern for all people, it's one thing. But I keep coming back to Kennedy's insistence and his focus on Black people, in this case, Black children. And this concerns me tremendously. This concerns me tremendously because there's a recommendation that our children need to be reparented. Black kids need to be reparented. They need to be reparented. Why? Because Black parents are not doing a good job? What is it? Why do they need to be reparented? So the recommendation is that we should put children with such challenges, special needs, particularly Black ones, in farms, health farms, wellness farms, where these kids could be reparented. Because all those medications that they are on are causing them to be disruptive in society, I suppose. And not only that, it's their fault that they're experiencing what they're experiencing. So what we have to do is reparent them. We put them in these farms where they go and farm and cultivate the land and all of that. But here's the catch. They cannot have access to their families. No telephone, no internet, no connection to the outside world. Just them with whomsoever is going to be in charge of their care, teaching them how to farm. We're going back to the farm. Get what I'm saying? Okay, listen. I'm just saying. It's fascinating. So they're going to be in the farms, cultivating crops, planting crops, or whatever. But they're not going to have access to the outside world. What does that remind you of? Does it matter to you? Think about it. So our children are going to be taken, if they're on psychotropic meds or whatever those medications that they have, they are not going to receive any more medications. They are instead going to be reparented, so they learn how to act, how to behave. What are they going to learn in these farms? Is it just how to cultivate? What does it mean to be reparented? Are they now going to learn how to behave, how to be strong? What is it? Or are they going to learn how to be subservient? What exactly are they going to learn in these farms? You're not asking questions. We're not asking questions. Hey, listen, maybe there'll be something that will come of it. That's his thoughts. But what are your thoughts? Is that okay? Are you willing to send your children to any one of these camps? Now, my understanding is that it's voluntary. It's not mandatory. But what does voluntary mean? Is it voluntary for me to take my child and have him or her where she has no access to me? We can't get in touch with the child. The child can get out in touch with the outside world. Or not just children. Anyone who's not perfect is going to go to this farm. Are you guys thinking? Are you thinking? Is this causing you pause? And I'm going around the internet looking, hey, my people, are you listening? Our children are going to be put in farms, health, wellness farms that we don't control. Because we can't call them and say, hey, baby, how are you doing? We can't do that. There'll be no phones. The kids will not even know what's going on in the world because there's no access to internet. Now, let me be clear. Sometimes it's important for children to be outdoors and not be focused on television and all that sort of thing. But where you have me is where you say that they have no access to anyone. That's where the concern comes in for me. The intention, I don't know. And I don't want to do any suppositions here. But I am quite concerned about the fact that there will be absolutely no contact with the outside world. How do we know what's going on over there? You don't know. What are some of the things that could happen? Now, the HHS has his thoughts. His idea is that this is going to make young people, a little bit more independent, They're going to learn how to till the land. And then, of course, after they learn how to till the land, what are they going to do with it? What are they supposed to do with that knowledge? Work in the farms. Well, I mean, right now we're firing everybody. We're firing scientists and doctors and lawyers, engineers, and hey. So what are they going to do with this knowledge of farming when people who have gone on for years to get their education are being fired right, left, and center? So what are these kids who go to these farms, these black kids, what are they going to do when they come out of these farms? Go back to the farm and farm. Pick the crops. But we're not talking about it. Hey, I'm just asking questions. It may not matter to you. It may absolutely be perfectly okay with you. But is it really? I can imagine a parent, this is why I'm concerned. A parent who wants to work and has a difficult child but cannot put that child on education that helps the child would say, okay, whatever, I've got to work. And that child may end up in this wellness farms. Think about it, people. You have a responsibility to know, to talk about it. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing anywhere. These things are happening, are going to happen to our children, and we're not even talking about it. I haven't seen discussions. I've gone to one podcast after the other. And I even had to say, well, is this real? Until I started seeing some individuals that did write an article about it. And of course, the video that shows that, yes, this is exactly how the HHS secretary feels about us. Now, if it was, like I said, if it was a collective, okay, then collectively we can argue. But I'm talking about this is specifically for black kids. First of all, we have to have a different kind of vaccines. And now we also, our children, have to go to these wellness farms. That, you know, that's the pure, if you call it wellness farms, right? Then it sounds like, oh, it's a good thing. But I just want to know what do we expect? It's a concentration camp of sorts. What could go wrong? I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means. I read, I study. If I find a topic of interest, I'm going to research it and find out, is it true? And this is what I'm finding out. Now, as a psychologist, I can tell you there are drawbacks to this kind of care. First of all, you're stigmatizing these children. That's number one. You're labeling them as needing repentance because this is their fault, or maybe the fault of the parents. So we have to reparent them. We have to teach them a different way to relate to their world. So you are saying that the people who are going to these wellness farms have some level of moral deficiency. That's going to create stereotypes. Would you want to say to anybody, oh, I am going to the wellness camp, when it's supposedly for those who have some deficiency? Are we paying attention? We talk about the new TikTok craze. We dance a certain way. We do all of that. Pay attention. You have the right as a taxpayer in this country. And even if you are outside of this country, pay attention to what's coming down the pike. Be alert. Just demand to know. You can't poo-poo this. Because of the stigmatization that comes with this, those children are not going to be whole when they come out of there. And you know, a child who has ADHD or who has diabetes, who is on the spectrum, those kids need individualized care. It's not one size fits all. One program fits all. I remember when my youngest daughter was in school, she did what little kids do. And she and her friend on the teacher's table, she was 5 years old. The teacher had a few coins on the table. She and the little girl picked up the coin. When the teacher found out that the coin was missing, my daughter was trying to explain that it was she and her other little friend who had taken the coins. But they targeted her. They forgot that it was her and her little white friend picked up the coin. They made such an issue of the fact that she took a nickel. I was called to come to the school because they don't tolerate that. She cannot take a nickel. So I say, I came to see the principal because my daughter took a nickel. That's why I'm here. They told me that my daughter took a nickel and had to go on a special program. A one size fits all. They gave me the program for another little black child that they considered disruptive. One size fits all. I dare say by the time I was done with the attorney, they dropped that nonsense, because that's all it was. It's nonsense. When you put these children together and they're so busy farming, they lose individual care. Who's going to provide any program designed specifically for these children that they need to get well? Who's going to do that? Every experience with ADHD is different from the other one. You have to absolutely make sure that you're giving individual care. Are they going to do that? Are these farms? It may not matter to you. Think. And at these farms, the other thing is cultural sensitivity. Who is going to be there to ensure that these kids' cultural background is taken into consideration? The approaches to care must take into consideration their backgrounds. Who is going to be doing that? Are they going to be culturally competent? Will they know what they should do with children of color? The challenges that the children of color experience and their families. What exactly are we talking about here, people? Are we paying attention? Are you paying attention to what I'm saying? I'm not here to say that Kennedy is right or wrong. I'm asking your opinion. What do you think? Is this the right approach for your children? Is this the right approach for anyone? Where are the other farms? What other wellness farms with white children go to? Is it comparable to the ones? Is it does it have equity? You know, is it going to be equitable? Is it going to be the same thing, or is one camp going to be one is going to be different from the other? Seems to me these are camps for our children. I don't know. I didn't say this. This is what's being proposed. So my question to you, is this okay with you? Is this the direction we should be going with our children? The reparenting of our kids? So we're not doing a good job. So we have to reparent these kids. So a child on ADHD who has ADHD, that's their fault. That's a weakness on their part. All they need is to focus on farming, and they'll come right out of it. Oh my God. What this will do is exclude our children. Now, how long? Usually when children are on ADHD and something like, they're still in school. So now they'll be taken out of school. They'll be taken out of school. So when is this during the summer that they are in, or is it during school year? Or are there going to be any academic opportunity at these wellness camps? What's available? What's available? Is it equitable? Are we just going to be excluding our children? We don't know. And unfortunately, many of us are not asking questions. I just want us to ask questions, that's all. And okay, so be it. But I'm sure the HHS should be able to let us know what he really means. Because any Black parent should be concerned, should ask questions. I'm hoping that after this program, you, if you are a dad, a mom, an uncle, an aunt, a brother or sister, whomsoever, that you ask just to understand. That's all. Just so you understand. Because it's supposed to be voluntary. And if it's voluntary, that means that it's up to you if you want your child to go to these wellness camps, or anybody you know for that matter. So if you know, if you're knowledgeable, then you're able to you have the discernment to then determine, okay, very well, I think this is a good thing for my kid. But if your child now, you don't know, as a matter of fact, you don't know, everybody's reckless. If you're taking any kind of psychotropic medications, it used to be a time when these things were not open to anybody's purview. It was private. But that information is everywhere. So if you're psychotropic medication, we don't know who knows if you're taking that. I don't know that either. I just know that much of our personal information is flying around everywhere. You have a right to ask questions. Anybody who's in a position of power to govern the lives of others should be able to explain their position. That's all. You should be able to ask and get the information you need so that you can make good decisions. Because remember, this is supposed to be, at the moment, it's supposed to be voluntary. So nobody's going to march in and come and grab your kids. I don't know that. I do know, however, that we all need to be knowledgeable about what's going on around us and be able and willing to talk about it. Talk about it. Don't ignore things that may impact you, and particularly the vulnerable people in your care. We don't know where direction this world is going. Do you? I don't. I really don't know. Many of us don't know. So now these wellness farms are focused, from what I gather, are going to be focused on wellness more so than the medical needs of the individual. Now, I can tell you that it's important for us to be engaged in wellness programming. That's important. Children with conditions like diabetes, however, they require medical attention. Are we going to ignore that? Are these wellness camps, are they going to get the medication that they need so that they can function, so that they can be healthy? Are they going to get the care they need to manage their condition? What are we speaking of? Will these wellness farms provide adequate management health care with it? The HHS has some answers to give us. I'm not here to say he's right or wrong. I'm just saying these are some of the things that we need to be aware so that we can make good decisions about the well-being of our children, the well-being of members of our community. We can't ignore these kinds of things. And then that goes for anything. You just need to know. People who have these challenges need to feel included in community. Any program that does not prioritize inclusivity is going to fail, because that person, when they come out of that program, if they come out of that program, may have become quite debilitated and then are going to be able to function properly in society. That's the tragedy of all of this. But I could be wrong. That's why I'm asking you. What are your thoughts? What do you think this is about? Are you comfortable with it? Do you have enough information so that you can volunteer your child to go to the wellness center, wellness farms? Are you prepared for that to be the solution that you're going to take? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. That's my responsibility, to ask questions. That's what Ntomoto is. Words of wisdom. I'm just sharing. I'm just asking you, ask questions, because this is voluntary. So you have to make the right decisions. You may find it to be a good thing for your child to go and work in a farm and come out of school. Now, that's the question I'm asking. Are they offering schools there? Are the children going to learn there? Or is the focus going to just be on wellness? And what kind of wellness anyway? Find out. Find out. Mr. Kennedy feels that he has the right answers. Good. Then he should tell us those answers. We just need those answers. I want to go find out why it's going to be better for my child to be in a wellness farm and not be at home receiving whatever treatment that they're receiving at the moment. You have to convince me. As a taxpayer, it is your right. You're paying for that department. Your dollars or your money is paying for that department. Right now, unfortunately, perhaps some of you are aware of it, lots of lives are being lost in different parts of the world right now because funding has been cut to aid people who are suffering from malaria, suffering from all manners of things. They're dying. Children are dying of starvation. Because when the mindset is that people are responsible for what's happening to them physiologically, to some degree, but a lot of these things you have no control. There are certain things we can do to help reduce some of the risk factors, but there's quite a lot that we can't do. Are you paying attention? Is this important to you? It's coming, y'all. 4 years. Let's see. If you don't ask questions today, you're acquiescing. You're saying it's okay. The intentions may well be okay, may well be a good idea, but I want to know everything. You should. We should all want to know as much as possible what's going on. I want to read some of the information, some of the comments I've got here. This is from UD. Dewo, yes, UD. Dewo to you. I hope you are well. Thank you for joining us. This is Kennedy is a racist. Next thing you know, Black folks will be interned in concentration camps and eventual extermination of Black folks. I don't know that to be the case, but you have to prove that that's not the case either. Because some of the things that I'm hearing, the focus on Black people, it should concern all of us. The fact that we shouldn't have the same vaccines. Woo! What's going to be in our own vaccines? Why is that even a discussion that we have to have a different vaccines? It hasn't been working all this time. So we need a new one? My people, wake up. Wake up. We are sleeping. If we're not talking about these things, we are sleeping. Is this a possibility that people will end up in concentration camps? I don't know that to be the case, but I don't know that it's not. That's what I want to know. And if we can talk about this, then maybe we can dispel any misconception. We don't know that it's not true because what I'm hearing is frightening. And there's this comment. It is very dangerous. With this administration, Black folks are the test tube. Remember the Tuskegee experiment. There's so much going on. So much going on. It's almost like the world is moving backwards. We're caught in it. We're caught in this movement. All this one, we're supposed to get your education, work hard, and all that. That doesn't even matter anymore. You be a doctor. The doctors are being fired, right, left, and center. Engineers, IT specialists, everybody's being fired. In other words, education is meaningless. So we have to go back to the time when people didn't have any education, so we can do all the menial jobs. Am I right? I may be wrong. But I'm asking questions based on what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. I hear my people say, we're going to sit this one out. Well, we can sit it out in terms of going out there and marching and all of that. But we can't sit out the information out there that's red lights, and nobody's talking about it. We have to wake up. Chineke is asking us to wake up. You see, that's the thing that we must understand. It's not at the end of the day that you start asking for Chineke's intervention. It is now that you are alive, that you're being given the information. It's in front of you. Ask questions. Find out. As a collective people, we must find out. This is red lights all over. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. This is an interesting comment here. White folks wish to take no responsibility for the African American worldview. 400 years of oppression can influence or wreck one's mind. You know what is disappointing to me when I find that we're moving backwards is that at one point, people were coming together. People were working together, trying to make things. I mean, it was never perfect. But at some point, we were seeing, okay, this is a global world. We need to work with each other. We need to help each other out. When this ground shakes, I'm going to have to reach out to somebody's hand to hold me up. And it doesn't matter if that person is white, purple, green, or red. You always reach out to another human being. That's where we were headed. That's what I thought. And now it's all about race. It's all about race. That has come in again. We don't want to know what black folks think. We don't want to know what white folks think. We don't want to know what Asian. I mean, we've been divided right, left, and center. And it is this division that we had way in the past, years ago. It's coming back. But you see, the thing about it is, this world, there is not one of us who is going to leave this world intact. We are all going to go 6 feet under. Even if your family puts you in an urn or a mausoleum, we're going to meet the same fate. We have to learn how to support each other, be kind to each other, not try to be detrimental to the well-being of other human beings, because guess what? You don't have it any better no matter your skin color. That has nothing to do with reality. Your skin color is the variety that the divine mind put out here for us to embrace and enjoy, but we're punishing each other for something we have no control over. I have no control over somebody being white or black or purple or green. That has nothing to do with me. That's how the Creator made them. But we're spending so much time trying to do harm to these people, to each other. If this ground shakes, if you have any problems with black people, would you like me to reach out and help you, or just let you be there? If I see a white person and I'm drowning, is it okay for me to reach out and ask for help? We are going backwards, focusing on not what's important, what will keep us together, move us forward, but what will take some other people backwards. The tragedy of that, on the other hand, is that it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. We have a date with the dark soldier. When it's our time, the doorbell will ring and he'll be there welcoming you back home, home where everybody's going to end up in. So spending time trying to make sure somebody else does not do well is a waste. It's a fool's errand. You're not going to go where it tells you. We are all going to meet our fate, every last one of us. We better learn how to support each other. And you, African people, pay attention. Don't be the sacrificial lamb. Don't be. If you're not paying attention, that's where you end up. That's where you end up. This comment says, they want slavery back, and since black folks spend too much time running from their own shadow, they will invite Jesus to intercede. And so it is possible that slavery may make a comeback. Slavery is already making a comeback. Our people are being sold all over the world. Menial, they get caught up in menial jobs, where some of them in foreign lands, they get their passports confiscated. So all they get to do is to work as slaves, 24/7, no rest. So is it coming back? It's already here. The mental slavery is here. Physical slavery is here. Are we going to ignore it? Are we going to do something about it? Let's start by talking about it. What I shared with you today, go online, you will find out. It's written online. Go to YouTube. You'll see it there. There's an African proverb that says that the mayhem going on here is not, it's all over the world. All over the world, we're not paying attention. There are some countries, thank God, that are paying attention to what's going on and are making the decision, okay, we will take care of our own. Wherever you find yourself as an African person, as a human being, look out for your fellow man. And when your particular race or your ethnic group is being targeted for certain things, you must ask. Even if you think, if they think that the intentions is good, you have to let them know that you don't think it's good for you. Ears that don't listen will listen. That's what elders say to children. If you don't listen to your mom, you don't listen to your dad, the kidnapper will put you in his bag, and there you will have to listen. Maybe we'll find you, maybe not. When we're not paying attention, we're not asking questions, our ears are not listening, and we will end up in the kidnapper's bag. Not just the children, us grown-up folks. Are you paying attention? Does this matter to you, what we're saying? I hope it does. History does have a tendency to repeat itself. History does have a tendency to repeat itself. The tragedy I fear is that we'll be a part of it. We will be a part of history repeating itself because we're not asking questions. We're not paying attention. We're not paying attention. Our role in this world is to live a legacy of warmth, a legacy of goodwill. I don't care if you're a leader. The legacy that you must leave must be a positive one. You must be the cause and the reason for good in the world. You must be the reason for good in the world. If you're not doing that, then you have not lived. I want to play this video. And for me, the greatest gift we can give to each other is love. Love is the highest religion. When you are determined to hurt others, you don't have love in your heart. You can't be happy. You cannot possibly be happy. What you're doing is thinking about how you can hurt somebody. There's no level of happiness there for you. And if you're the target of somebody's ill intentions, you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. I'll play this short video and I'll be right back. Welcome again to the Ntomodo Show. I just want to leave you with this thought for what it's worth. Everybody's life is worth something. Everybody's life is important. We must, no matter who we are, what positions we have in this world, our charge must be to ensure that every human being has the opportunity to live the best life they possibly can. To be in authority and to use your authority in a way that harms people means that there's a reckoning sometime in the future for each one of us who abuse our roles our leadership roles. It's important that we use our roles to do good, to be kind to humanity. There's an African spiritual proverb that says, Madubuchibea, we're God to each other. It's through another human being that you receive blessings, the blessings of Shineke. So it's so important, extremely important, that we do all that we can, all that we possibly can, to use our strength, to use our positions in life to do good, to honor each other. Because when we honor each other, we're really honoring the Most High. When the Creator made this world, no particular person was selected to be better than the other. Everybody is good based on how the divine created them. And we need to respect and honor that. The drive towards the past. And when we get there, then what? When we go back to the past, then what? Does minimizing the well-being or the minimizing the self, the worth of another human being, how does that make you powerful? How does that change the dynamics of living? It does not, because as long as you live, at some point, you're going to meet the ancestors, you're going to meet the divine, and you're going to have to say, this is what I did when I was alive. I helped this person, I helped that person, I did this, I did that. What positive things that you can say that you did? It's not about you using your power. It's not about you being powerful and using that power to undermine the relevance of other people's lives. Use your power to do good. That's for every leader, male, female, or otherwise. I want to thank you for those of you who joined us today. I know the announcement for this program was fast, and I did not stream anywhere else but YouTube. So I'm going to ask you, remind you again to please subscribe to my channel, Tomato Show on YouTube, so that whenever we have a discussion that will benefit you or benefit our community, you know when it's coming, so that you can join me and we'll have a conversation. Remember, this is part of Chiism Network. We have other shows on this network. We have the African Calendar, hosted by Dibia Yudi Onyoha. Then we have the Chiism Live, hosted by Dibia Yudi Onyoha, myself, and Dibia Chiedozie. Then we have the Kinga Thoughts, hosted by the young man Emeka Onyoha, Emeka Smith Onyoha. And then it will just keep growing. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Yudi. Thank you for whoever. I noticed some people coming in and out. Thank you. We're going to be making, this is every Saturday. This is every Saturday. And we hope that you join us next Saturday. And next Saturday also, we have Chiism Live. So African Spirituality, hope you can join us there. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you being here today. And I hope that you take something that I shared with you today and add to your repertoire and help make our world a better place. And so it is. Yada, yagazie.